Today is December 14th, 2023. My name is Paul Wolf. I serve as president of the New York Coalition for Open Government. We are a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization dedicated to advocating for transparency in government. And we release a couple reports a year regarding the open meetings law, freedom of information law. I encourage you to check out our website at nyopenGov.org. Got a lot of great stuff on there for you to check out. And today we're going to talk about our naughty and nice list. We did this last year. And just like Santa, the Coalition for Open Government keeps a naughty and nice list. And we want to share that list with you today. We have government officials at the state and local level from across the state that are on the naughty list and some that are on the nice list. So I have a brief PowerPoint of like 20 slides to quickly go through just to show you who's on the list. And then we will open it up for questions. The PowerPoint was sent out, I think, about a half hour ago, so hopefully everyone has that. So let me see if I can manage to share my screen. Of course, when I click on more, I don't see it. Oh, here's the share screen button. Can everyone see that?
It's loading.
It's fermenting. It's coming. It's coming. There you go.
Indeed.
Then I gotta do. Okay, so here we go. So as I said, we are a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization. There's our website again. First on our naughty list is the city of Ithaca. Now, meeting minutes are a basic task that should not be that difficult for municipalities to accomplish, but in 2023, it was discovered that Ithaca was several years behind in posting their meeting minutes. So here they have, a city with a budget of 84 million, 5 employees in the city clerk's office. There really is no acceptable excuse for not posting meeting minutes online. It shouldn't be that hard. It should be a priority. It's mandated by law that you have to post meeting minutes or a meeting video online within 2 weeks. So it's just shocking to be several years behind. And I haven't checked, but hopefully they've fixed that. And for each one of these on the list, I also want to recognize the reporter that brought it to the public's attention. So that was a reporter by the name of Jimmy Jordan from the Ithaca Voice. And it's just so important to have reporters bringing this information to the public's attention, or else no one would know. Next on, and these aren't in any particular order as far as best or worst. This is just the list. Next on our naughty list is the Wayne County Board of Supervisors. These folks hold secret club meetings, literally. The 15-member Board of Supervisors are all members of the same political party. And as this reporter from the Finger Lakes Times reported, they gather prior to the public meeting and have their own closed-door meeting. And when the reporter asked them, should this be, should this be scrapped, these secret meetings? No one replied. No one was able to defend it on the record because there is no defense for it. There's no need for an entire legislative body to meet in secret before the public meeting. In fact, I believe it's against the law. There was a lawsuit filed against the Buffalo Common Council years ago because their entire body was all Democrats and they were having caucus meetings. And the court said, you can't do that. If your entire body is of the same political party, you can't have a private caucus meeting. So this is something that really should end. It's disservice to the public. Talk about your business in public, not behind closed doors. Next on our list is the Bethel Planning Board. Credit to the residents of Bethel. I'm not sure who led the charge, but someone got a petition of over 1,000 signatures calling for greater transparency. And one of the items they requested was for planning board meetings to be broadcast online. And Bethel is the only one of Sullivan County's 5 most populous areas to not make their meetings available online. And despite the public's request, the planning board refused. They said, no, we're going to continue to do business as we always have. There's no reason why an effort should not be made to live stream these meetings. And again, credit to the River reporter that brought this to the public's attention. Next is kind of a funny one. Buffalo Sewer Authority. When Jeff Kelly, a reporter with Investigative Post, contacted the Buffalo Sewer Authority because he had heard that the mayor's son was their new public information officer. And he asked, is that true? And the person on the phone told him, well, you'd have to file a FOIL request to find out. I mean, you got to be kidding me. You honestly can't make this stuff up. You call a public agency to find out who their public information officer is, and you have to file a FOIL request? Well, we all know the real reason is no one wanted to come clean at that point that the mayor's son had been hired. Well, the fact is the mayor's son was hired to be the public information officer. Well, be honest about it, fess up about it. I mean, this isn't going to be kept a secret. To make someone file a FOIL request is just ridiculous. The New York City Police Department is next on our naughty list. They have begun to encrypt police radio communications with the goal to encrypt all of their communications, and encrypting meaning that the public and the news media will not be able to listen to this on a police scanner, which has been the case for many years. And police scanners are important for public information, and this is something that should be opposed. I know there's been legislation introduced to prevent this, and we hope that happens. You know, perhaps there can be some delay or access to the news media, but there should be some access that is not completely leaving the public in the dark regarding police radio calls. And we appreciate Todd Mazel, who has made this a public issue. Next on our naughty list is a repeat offender. We have some repeat offenders, which is pretty bad if you not only made the list last year, but you made it again this year. And Dan Barney, the New Haven supervisor, is making it 2 years in a row. In an angry tirade during a public hearing, he slammed his gavel down and interrupted a member of the public when she was raising concerns about transparency issues. This guy has got some real anger issues, does not appreciate being questioned or challenged in any way. It's just an inappropriate way for an elected official to act. If someone's speaking, they're literally going to have, 3 minutes. You can bear with it. You may not like what's being said, but you should bear with it. And to slam your gavel so hard that you break it is just ridiculous. And we appreciate Ken Sturtz from the Palladium Times from bringing this to our attention. Next, this guy's got a laundry list here. He also is a repeat offender. Niagara Falls Mayor Robert Restaino. There was a Buffalo News editorial that was complaining about how the police department was delaying release of information regarding a police officer shooting. He was being interviewed by a Channel 2 news reporter who just asked him a simple question that he didn't like. So he puts his hand over the camera and abruptly ends the interview. They did a survey at City Hall to find out what residents thought about some things, and he refused to release it, saying it wasn't authorized. I mean, there's no such basis under the Freedom of Information Law to withhold something because it was not authorized. And he has continued his practice of not allowing the public to speak when the mayor calls a city council meeting. He has the authority to call a special meeting where he sets the agenda, And when he sets the agenda, there is no public comments. Every other council meeting, the public can speak, but not the mayor, who's too thin-skinned and too arrogant to hear what the public has to say. So he's on the naughty list 2 years in a row, and we'll see what happens next year. Next on our naughty list is James Montejanino. I'm not sure if I said his name right. Saratoga Springs council member. He came up with the crazy idea of, in order to speak at public comment, you would have to show proof that you lived or worked in the city in order to speak at city council meetings. Just, again, a bad idea, which fortunately the Saratoga Springs City Council did not take him up on this proposal. Public meetings are open to the public for everyone to speak. You know, you may have a business in the city and not live there. You may have relatives in the city and not live there. Whatever. People should be allowed to attend public meetings and speak. And once again, there's typically a 3-minute limit, so it shouldn't be that hard to hear what people have to say. And we appreciate Shannon Doa from the Daily Gazette for writing about this. Next on our naughty list, the Merrimack Village Board, and I'm not sure if I said that right either. In violation of the open meetings law, they approved a $1 million contract extension for the village administrator in a closed-door executive session. You're not allowed to appropriate public funds behind closed doors. And somehow the village attorney said that this was okay. And it actually took a town resident to file a lawsuit and win to bring this to light. So we appreciate Suzanne McQuarrie, who filed the lawsuit on her own, actually. And we appreciate the Rockland Westchester Journal News for writing about this. Another supervisor acting badly. Dennis Paulau, supervisor of the town of Bern. A resident went to the microphone to speak at a public hearing, and it was immediately interrupted by the town supervisor, verbally attacked. Supervisor refused to allow person to speak and actually had them removed by a police officer. Outrageous conduct by an elected official. I don't know what is going on with some of these elected officials. We hear a lot of complaints about how the public acts badly at meetings. And while that happens, I don't think enough attention is being highlighted on how often elected officials are acting badly at public meetings. And just as this was a horrible example that's on video, and we appreciate Noah from the Altamont Enterprise for writing about this. Last on our naughty list, Governor Kathy Hochul. Despite her promise of bringing a new era of transparency to New York State, government is as secret as ever. Governor Cuomo promised to have the most transparent administration ever. He failed. Governor Hochul has made the same promise, and so far she is woefully falling short. New York State budget discussions still occur in secret. There was not one word in her State of the State speech or her policy book that said anything about open government. And we just have example after example where it's just business as usual in New York State. And we hope we have a bunch of bills that are been introduced in the state legislature. We're working to get them passed. And we hope Governor Hochul can see to it to sign those bills, because if she's truly serious about transparency, she's going to have plenty of opportunities to show that. And we will be watching and hope that she does the right thing. So let's move on now to our nice list. And that is, we had a new mayor in the village of Kanahari, and one of his campaign promises was to move public comments from the end of the meeting to the beginning of the meeting. And he did that at his very first meeting, Ronald Devendorf. And we want to draw attention to that. There are a lot of places that do public comments at the end of the meeting, which to me is, what's the point? You've already voted, you've already acted. If you're truly serious about what the public thinks, you should hear what they have to say before you vote, not after. So the mayor here did the right thing. We appreciate Tyler McNeil from the Daily Gazette Recorder for writing about this. The New York State Authority's Budget Office. They are an agency that monitors authorities throughout the state. And they've been doing some great work, and we want to recognize them for that. They do audits where they check to see whether authorities are complying with their requirements. And one of the things they check is website transparency. Our meeting documents being posted online, our meeting minutes being posted. Besides our organization, they're really the only other entity in the state that is monitoring compliance with the open meetings law in this regard, and we appreciate it. They're also very diligent to respond to citizen complaints. I know a member of the public that complained about some transparency issues, and they got right on it and issued a report calling the agency out. So they're doing good work.
Paul, if I may interrupt you, Senator Lou just came in. If you want to, because
Yeah, I'm going to get to him in a minute.
Yeah, he's on a short timeline. He only has a couple of minutes.
All right, let me just finish here. Tom DiNapoli, a New York State Comptroller. He's conducted several recent audits focusing on transparency, and did one recently regarding FOIL requests. So we appreciate that he too is now starting to do some transparency related audits and reports. Assemblymember Linda Rosenthal. She introduced a bill of ours to implement a hearing officer system, which would allow people to get a hearing for their FOIL complaints, open meeting law complaints, and we appreciate her for introducing this bill. Senator John Liu, he introduced a bill regarding attorney fee reform, which we drafted, and it's very hard to get attorney fees. If you go through the hassle of suing and you win a FOIL case or an open meetings law case, it should be mandatory that your attorney fees are paid. And that's not the case in New York, unlike other states. Even when you win, it's very hard to get attorney fees. So Senator Liu has introduced a bill and it passed the Senate. So we appreciate his efforts, and I'm happy to have him say a few words. I don't know if you could share his screen. Oh, there he is. You gotta unmute him.
I'm still really nervous. Trying to figure out which list I'm on.
Oh, you're on the nice list.
Oh, thank heavens, because my stocking's a little flimsy and I don't know how many calls it can take. Thank you to the Coalition on Open Government. I think the work that you do is important for our democracy and for the proper functioning of government. And thanks for giving me a bill to champion. I know Assemblymember Steck has worked hard as well on this bill, this particular bill that you mentioned. I believe firmly in transparency because it's government of the people, by the people, for the people. And I have every expectation that this bill will not only make it easier for people to recover attorney fees, but we may not even get to that point, because I think the agencies will just be more judicious about their actions, knowing that that they will have to answer for them. And that's what this is about. So thanks for including me in this.
Thank you, Senator. We look forward to working with you again this session.
Well, you mean next session? Next year,
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, the bills, give us a holler. My legislative director, Shane Liu, is on as well. He's actually the brains behind the operation. So you want to talk to him. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Happy holidays, everyone.
You too. All right, let's go on our nice list. We have Assemblymember Phil Steck. Oh, did my screen stop sharing or?
No, you're good.
It went away on my screen anyways. Assembly Member Phil Steck, who, as Senator Lou mentioned, introduced the assembly version of the attorney fee bill. And he's also introduced a bill calling for a constitutional amendment, which we would like to see in New York. A few states have a constitutional, in their state constitution, a right to open government. New York does not have that, and it should. And the last person on our nice list is Jonathan Michael Davis, who is a Mount Vernon Library Board member. And on 2 occasions, he spoke up and addressed improper executive session motions. And we don't see this often enough. There are way too many executive session motions where no one questions it, way too many motions that are improper, not for valid reasons. And to Mr. Davis's credit, he did it on not one occasion, but twice, calling out improper executive sessions. And we appreciate his courage and willingness to do so. And we wish more people would do the same. So that is our naughty and nice list. Let me stop sharing. And I am happy to answer any questions that people may have. If you can raise your hand, that would probably work best if you are able to do that. Someone have a question? I see Stephen Qatar has a question. You got to unmute yourself, or Axel unmute you. Yeah.
I represent Warwick Valley Dispatch. It's a local newspaper, has been printed in the greater Warwick area since 1885. And recently there has been an unfolding scandal that involves the mayor of village of Florida. All confirmed by court documents. There's a lawsuit pending by the villagers, village residents rather. How do we contribute to the Coalition for Open Government compilation of the list? Is there?
Well, what I usually do, and what we'll do for next year, is we have a very active Facebook page where I share news articles from across the state. And what I do is every December, I kind of scroll through that Facebook for the year and pull out articles. There's a lot of articles of issues, but we try to pull out those that are even worse and stand out kind of from the rest. So that's how we typically do it. So if you write an article about it, I'm sure we'll see it and share it on our Facebook page, and we might include you for the next list.
Understood. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks for attending. Todd, you have your hand up. You got to unmute yourself.
I got it. Gotcha. Have you guys come to an opinion or a position on the bill introduced by State Senator Michael Gianaris that would require police departments throughout the state to unencrypt their radios for the press and give a 10-minute delay for the public?
It looks good to me. I would support that, but we haven't really talked about it as a group.
Right.
I can certainly put it
I know
on
it's
the
been early.
future agenda.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Anyone else have a question? Going once? Or if you now can't figure out raising your hand, you can certainly unmute yourself. Anne Marie.
So I have a question. I see the naughty list is very long and the nice list is very short.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be because we don't really have good open government in the state, and maybe with these legislative changes, we might actually have more people on the nice list than on the naughty list?
I would hope so. And, I think it's just the nature of news media as well, that you see more bad stuff than you do good stuff. Maybe for the nice list, we probably should solicit more from the public as to who should be on the nice list. Anyone else have a question? Marnie?
Hi. I don't really have a question, but I just wanted to let people know kind of what's been happening in Chelsea. in terms of public housing. You know, tenants in Chelsea, what's happening is that there's two developers related, an SS company, and what they want to do is demolish all of public housing in the Chelsea area. That's Fulton and Elliott Chelsea. That's like probably around 5,000, 6,000 people that live in those apartments. And what I've been experiencing since I've been on the ground and been an advocate for tenants is tenants who are against the demolition are excluded from resident engagement meetings. You know, NYCHA executives, we bring that to their attention and they don't care. They walk away from the tenants. They scoff at the tenants. So I wanted NYCHA to be on the naughty list. But also our elected officials in this district don't do anything. You know, when I got your email, I just thought like, you know, NYCHA should also be on the naughty list. I just wanted to bring that to people's attention because it's just so egregious. And, you know, it's almost like we're trying to get news stories about that, but the media doesn't really, you know, cover it. And public housing is probably the only deeply affordable, genuine public housing in the entire city. So it's like once that goes, if public housing is able to be demolished and luxury condos in its place, it'll set a precedent for the city. And 1 out of like 13 or 15 New Yorkers lives in public housing. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Sure. Thank you for sharing that
It's
information.
frightening. Thank you.
Anyone else have a question? Going once? Going twice? All right, well, we did that in like almost perfectly 30 minutes. So I appreciate everyone for attending. We'll be sending out a copy of the video. If reporters have any additional questions, they can certainly contact me by email. And we'll see you at another coalition press conference, I'm sure, soon on something else. Thanks.